You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rokfin, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Now, you just called them animals. Do you think that they are just flesh and blood hominids? Because there's so much high strangeness surrounding encounters with these, especially the ones that I've heard and that I put into my documentary with one of my primary witnesses. His name is Scott Pace. There's everything from these creatures being able to cloak and disappear, possibly have a connection to UFOs, and as well as psychic communication at times. So there is something going on with a consciousness connection, at least, with some of these creatures, right?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I think the Bigfoot is a small microcosm of what our place is in this universe. And we've, for some reason, our government wants to cover that up. They've done it so much, I don't believe them anymore, even when they try not to. Because they just lied. They lie about everything. And so I think, though, that we live in a massively large universe, that we're a very small planet in a very small solar system of a relatively small galaxy amongst billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, and trillions of planets. And somehow we're not the only things that are alive in this universe. I think it's very possible, if you have to push me to say it is or isn't, if I had to do that, and I don't know, so I can't say for sure, but I would say that it's possible these things aren't from here. I think somehow they've been either dropped off here, or what is it when you put someone out on an island and you make them stay out there? What's the word for that?
Or banished. Exiled, yeah.
Yeah, exiled here. Maybe some other alien culture said, I have had enough of these things. They're off of our planet right now. I don't know what it is, but you know how with Superman, he has super strength here, but in his own planets, he didn't have super strength because the Krypton helped keep him from being too strong. I wonder sometimes, because these things do things that you shouldn't be able to do. They physiologically do things that you shouldn't be able to do, including jumping, running, moving. Their movements don't seem right. Something's just not earthly when the people report what they've seen. Believable reports from real people that are believable people. And I think it might be that they just their DNA and their physical abilities were developed in areas where the gravity was stronger. and now they're on here, and boom, they can jump a mile and they can run super fast because they have less restraints than their evolution built into them. So I wonder if that's possible. I also think that the world is a lot stranger than we wanted to believe. We don't live in a materialistic world. We live in a conceptual, immaterialistic, spiritual place. And science is beginning to catch up in spite of the scientists. And we got to stop thinking we have this all figured out, because we do not. And there are things going on in this world that don't make sense. And we can't keep hiding from them, and the government has to quit hiding us from it. Or for whatever reason, they have to stop doing it. It's grow up and be adults. And there's things, I think that there are quantum physics. These things might have some quantum things. There might be portals. I discounted that for a long time, but there might be. And I'm seeing some evidence that there are. Would people just disappear? They know where they are.
Now,
I don't
Tim,
know.
I'm going to briefly just run through some of the experiences that the witness that I feature in my documentary, Scott Pace, which I really encourage you to go to watch. I'll send you a screener after so you can take a look, because his experiences are absolutely incredible. They're the most incredible that I've heard from anybody who's had these types of experiences. He lives in South Louisiana. It all started out with him witnessing a Bigfoot, and not only a Bigfoot, a dog man within the same radius. So a werewolf-like creature, and they both started psychically communicating because the werewolf creature was threatened, and was threatening him to come over to the deer blind where he was and tear him apart. The Bigfoot, in turn, was trying to defuse the situation, saying that he was mentally speaking with the dog man, telepathically, saying that, no, this guy's not trying to hurt us, he's just looking at us, and it was an incredible situation that terrified him, so he took off running out of the deer blind, and he said that he looked back and sensed that there were more of these creatures following him out. Well, after that experience, he became more curious, of course, about the whole phenomena, and he started seeing more of these things. They started actually coming into his house at night, peeking in his windows, and he eventually started having psychic communication in the swamplands with these creatures. And like I said, he believes this, and he is just your normal, everyday. He didn't know anything about this phenomena before. He's not looking for any attention.
I would love to hear it.
And he's had these, but they eventually turned into what you would understand as contact or alien abduction experiences, where he'd have missing time, and the next day he'd have memories of being escorted through catacomb-like chambers with gray extraterrestrials, mantis-looking beings, and a Bigfoot accompanying them somehow. So his experiences evolved. They continue to evolve to a more of an extraterrestrial nature as he gets more involved in this, and it's incredible. And I just would love to get your insights further into that whole extraterrestrial connection.
Well, I think that's where the answers are, and when we understand with better degree of ability what's really going on out there, everything will make sense about Bigfoot. Then we'll go, oh geez, that, when you have those moments, oh wow, that makes sense. And it's like when you read the end of a book and you go, how did that happen? You read the beginning and the end, you go, how did that happen? And it just doesn't seem real, but then you read the rest of the book and all of a sudden you see all the points that connect. I think that's going to happen. I think we might be close to it. It might just be more distraction and fakery to keep us off track. I honestly don't know
Tim,
anymore.
what do you think about the possibility that instead of off-planet, that these beings are more of an interdimensional nature, or they are from here just in a different frequency or density to where we cannot perceive them, or they can fade in and out of our perception at any time, but these beings may have originated here along with other types of extraterrestrials that may not necessarily be coming from space, but from different types of dimensional realms here on what we consider Earth?
What could be, I think that dimensionality for a physical object, there's got to be some density, even with quantum physics and the measurement problem and all of that. There's still some degree of the physical existence. It's dense. There's a density about physical objects that complicates the idea of measurement. We know photons do what you think they're going to do when you see them doing it. We know that that's a reality, and that photons can change certain realities by observing them, by measuring them. It's the measurement effect. And there's some implications to our physical reality that are affected by measurement, by attitudes, and things we believe are going to be true, they tend to happen, and things we believe aren't going to happen tend not to happen. So that we do have some measurable, we can collapse reality to some degree into things we want it to be. But I think ultimately our physical reality is pretty dense. So think of coming in and out of existence because we want to come in and out of existence. I'm not sure if that's possible. I know we're not doing it.
Right.
It's maybe an object could do it.
Well, I believe that our ancient ancestors most likely had these abilities and capabilities to do this. It's just we've been so dampered by everything that we're exposed to.